Um, Welcome back. It is, in fact, categorically and factually the period between Christmas and New Year when there's nothing to do except if you're actually like working class and you have a job to do. I am working class, but thankfully my job is closed for the next week and a bit, so I get to be off like the 1%, which is what how I think of people who get Christmas and New Year off. 1% behavior. Anyway, so today I'm going to talk about TV. I haven't really talked about TV shows before. They exist. I remember I went out on a date once and the person was like, "Oh, I love TV," and I was like, "Wow, that's like such a unique opinion." Why am I so nasty? Anyway, TV. Also I'm getting over this cough situation, so if there's like sporadic jump cuts, it's because I've had to edit out a nasty, gnarly little coughing fit. So just keep that in mind. Okay? I'm suffering, but I'm at work. I'm working. Okay? I'm starting on business. I'm doing this for you. I mean, I also derive pleasure from it, but yeah, like, think before you speak. Anyway, let's get started. I have kept track of everything that I've watched on TV this year. I think so. Anyway, I might like some of it might have slipped through the cracks. Like, if you remember me talking about something and you think it's not on the list, please let me know. But I think I got everything. There is like a tracking app that you can use that's like similar to Letterboxd, and it's called Serialized, but I find it really clunky to use. I don't find it as like fun, organic. I just don't know. I was using like the desktop only version as well, so maybe that didn't help. Like, maybe if I'd had the app version, but like I just couldn't be arsed with another app. But yeah, it was hard for me to remember to log everything on there, and it was just like pissing me off, so I just stopped using it. So that's that. So I don't know if it's gotten better. Please let me know if you use Serialized and you think like it's still worth a shot. Let me know. I can get back on it. But for now, I just put it on my notes app. And I went through it recently to rank them all because I only support quality stuff. I think movies, it's easier to forgive low quality or like just something that's not your bag because it's like a limited time. It's only like 2 hours max, and there's not as much of a commitment. Whereas with TV, like if I get annoyed with something, I will stop 2 episodes in and I don't really give a shit. I used to love like completing things just for the sake of it, and then I realized like life is short. Why watch 8 episodes of something you don't like when you can just watch a Twitch streamer play a really stupid game for 8 hours instead? Well, I don't know, you know? Also, I had to make sure this list did in fact start at the start of 2024 because I couldn't remember. I think I did start the first show just before it, like in late 2023, but I still count it because I finished it in 2024. And yeah, I did double check via my Instagram stories archive because I talk about everything and anything on my stories because I have no filter, and so obviously I talk about what I'm watching. So let's get into it. I wish I had like months for these. Like maybe next year that's what I'll do, is I'll have it like categorized into months, but I think I can like guesstimate some of it because of like what was happening in my life at the time. But a lot of it I don't know. So let's get started. So start of the year, I was rewatching Mad Men. I think I've only ever watched it in full twice, and even then, the first time I didn't actually watch it in full. I skipped a lot from like season 5 onwards because of the like Megan Draper storyline that got a little bit sketchy, and I did not really want to watch that kind of shit at the time. So this was my first time like watching it in full. It is still obviously a masterpiece of television. There were some bits in the later seasons that did piss me off. I am looking at you, Fat Betty. But yeah, overall, like, so much to say. So much to say. It will make you mentally ill. I think for me on this rewatch especially, I love the dynamic between Dawn and Peggy. Love them together, and I love just like Peggy interacting with everyone. I really wish she'd had a lesbian arc. That would have been really, really cool. And I love wait, is it Jean? Oh my god, I don't even know the character's name. Joan Holloway. Okay, Joan Holloway, not Jean Holloway. Close enough. Do you know what? Close enough. Yeah, Christina Hendricks. She fucking did that, girl. Yeah, I think like everyone is such a great actor in there in that show. Like, it's just so good. I don't know. They just don't make them like that anymore. They just don't. So that was a 5 out of 5. Obviously. Mama. Then I watched Jury Duty, which is on Freebie, I think. And that was really fun. That's another 5 out of 5. It's like semi-reality TV, semi-scripted. I just thought everyone was really cute, very wholesome. Love James Marsden. Yeah. Love Jury Duty. I think it's a really good watch at this time of year, actually. Like, if you don't want to watch anything like too serious, if you just want something to like wash over you. It's quite short as well. There's not that many episodes, which I appreciate. No need to drag it all out. And yeah, it's just fun. Bring back fun to TV, to be honest. Next, I watched The Traitors. And I'm so excited because I just got an ad for it for the 13th. And it's coming back in the new year. So probably this was at New Year that I watched it. And I mean, I can remember like most of it. I was going to compare it to the first season, but the first season I can't really remember that much of it either. But yeah, I love the formula, just love everything about it. I haven't watched any of the other like country versions of The Traitors, and I maybe should, because like I do really love it when I'm watching it. I don't know. I love everything about the British one, and I don't know if I would enjoy anything else from the other like country versions, because like in the American one they use like TV stars and stuff, or like reality TV stars, so I don't know, to me it kind of defeats the purpose of like a true reality TV show where it's just like everyday Joes. Yeah, 4 out of 5. Love it. It's so good as well to have something that is just like universally enjoyable and that everyone can just like have a little natter about. I love, honestly, water cooler chat is my jam. Like, I love talking about reality TV with people. I think it's really fun. So that's that. Then I watched Big Boys. I think my friend Dave recommended it. It's a Channel 4 joint. It's got the guy from Dairy Girls, the English boy, and it's set in 2015, which I think is such a funny time to set it in, because it was like not that long ago, but it kind of actually was, like when you actually look at what the like people were wearing and like the technology they're using, it's like, oh yeah, actually things were pretty different even just 10 years ago. That makes me sick that it was now 10 years ago. But yeah, very funny, very wholesome again. There is some like more serious stuff in there, but overall I found it really, really sweet. I cried. I did cry. I don't know if they're going to do a new season. I think that they're capping it at 2, which is sad, but ultimately like it's a finite story, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I really loved it. I love the like voice of it. That's all I'm gonna say. 4.5 out of 5. I don't know why I rated it so low. I don't know. Maybe I wanted some. I think maybe because I just wanted more. Then I watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the TV show, not the movie. Although I did rewatch the movie not that long ago, and it does not hold up. And I don't understand why people were adamant that there was like chemistry between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, because there is practically none. I love Maya Erskine. Donald Glover is fine. He is very sexy, I will say that. He is very, very sexy. Don't always vibe with his sense of humor, but he is very sexy. My favorite part in the whole show is when Donald Glover is on a mission in a mountain, but instead of wearing white to camouflage himself, he wears red. And when Maya Erskine is like, "Why are you wearing this?" and he's like, "It's fashion." Really love that part. But yeah, great show. I love all the location stuff as well. I think they go to Lake Como, and I was in Lake Como like not that long before it came on, or came out. So I was like, I've been there, no biggie. Yeah, very exciting. I love spy stuff. Love spy stuff. I also love What's Her Face, who is in it for like 2.5 seconds. Posey Parker. I like her a lot. Anyway, 4 out of 5 for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. There was some moments that I was just like, I don't know if it's just that certain kind of like humor that I'm just like overexposed to maybe. I think it probably hits to someone who's less online than me. But because I'm so online, I can see like the stuff going on behind it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Then I watched This Country, which is a British show. I've never watched it before. I think it's been out for quite some time. And it was fun. It was funny. Don't know what else to say. It's quite an easy watch as well. The episodes are quite short. There's not too many seasons of it. There's not a lot of like depth to it. It's just mostly funny. So 4.5. 4.5, 4 out of 5. Just a fun show. I liked it. Yeah. This was definitely in like, hold on, when did that happen? I think this was in February going into March that I watched it. Because my ex recommended it to me. That's how I remember it. Then I watched Poker Face, which was actually so good. I watched it so late compared to when it came out. I think it was like several months late, if not a full year. And like I'd been meaning to watch it, but I just kind of kept putting it off. Even though I knew it would be totally my shit, because I love like detective stories. I love weird mysteries. And I really love What's Her Face, Natasha Lyonne. So it was bound to be a 10 out of 10 for me, and it was. Except it wasn't 10 out of 10, it was 5 out of 5, because I'm doing it out of 5, not 10. Yeah, just everything about it is really fun. I love this, like, yeah, the fact that it's kind of like a monster of the week kind of thing, where you don't necessarily need to see the whole show to understand what's happening in individual episodes. I like that each episode is like a self-contained little story, and there is like a beat throughout of like what's happening to Natasha Lyonne's character, but like you don't necessarily need to know the full information. I think actually the first episode I watched was like one of the later ones, and my mum was watching it, and I sat in with her and I was like, what's this all about? And I kind of like got into it. Then I was busy and I walked out, but like even from just like 10-15 minutes of it, I was like, that looks really cool, and I will revisit it. But I'd like got what was going on without needing the context of like the bigger overarching plot. Yeah, I think this is another thing actually, is like when my mum watches something, I am so filled with doubt about it, because her caliber of taste is just so crazy to me. Like it's not even lower or above mine, it's just on a different level. Like I'm here and she's like in a different universe. Like she will watch literally anything as long as there's like 5 series of it and 22 episodes per seasons. She's happy. She's so like Cocomelon baby. Like if as long as there's moving images and people talking, she's invested. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm always just a little bit like, is it good, or were you just like entertained for like several hours? And that's a valid question to ask yourself when you're watching something. Anyway, that was Poker Face, and then we have Search Party. So Search Party, I had watched the first 2 seasons, and because I think when the first came out, it was out on maybe Channel 4, and then the second season was Channel 4 too, but then I think it all got transferred to a different channel, maybe on Sky. And notoriously, I've only ever had Sky for 1.5 years of my life. maybe it was 2 years. Yeah, it was 2 years. I'm lying. Lock me up. I've lied. I've only ever had Sky for 2 years of my life, and it's because my first boyfriend was adamant that we have it, and I was resistant, although I did reap the benefits. So maybe I'm fake working class after all. Anyway, so because of that, it got changed to another channel. I never really pursued it. I mean, it's not like I couldn't have watched it. There's ways, but I just was like, it's not worth the effort at the time. Anyway, I found it on, I think it was BBC iPlayer, and I was just like, fuck it. And it is so nostalgic for that time. Like, so nostalgic. I think for me, like, Search Party and Girls kind of came out at similar times, and I always like associate one with the other. Just very similar fashion is what was going on at the time. Also that and Broad City, I think like that's a trifecta of like shows that were set in New York in like the mid 2010s that impacted me in some way or another. So yeah, Search Party. So yeah, I fully finished it. I think there's what, like 4 seasons of it? Oh, there's 5 seasons. Yeah, there's a couple at the end that go a little bit crazy, but you know what? It's fine. I think my favorite thing watching it this time as well is like noticing all these like comedians that I'm aware of now but that I wasn't then, and just like being able to like point them out and be like, oh, it says, what's his face? Like Benito Skinner from Ride the Pod has a cameo in it for like 2 seconds, and I was like, oh my god, it's Benny! So yeah, it's just fun to like realize that you're in the know of the comedy scene. Maybe like 10 years too late. Anyway, so Search Party 4 out of 5. I do think it's worth a watch. I don't think you will get consistent message throughout. After the first like 2 seasons, it will become a bit, but it's fine. It's still like fun and silly. Then I did a Sex and the City rewatch, as I am wont to do. I think I rewatch it basically every like 18 months at this stage. I first watched it in full when I was going through my breakup with my second boyfriend, and it's just become like a staple. Like anytime I'm like, what do I watch? Sex and the City. And yeah, this time I did watch it right after my breakup. I did, but I think that's when you need it the most. It's just so healing. Oh, I could literally go on and on about it. Like, the characters are so good, the story beats are so funny, like everything about it. I love Sex and the City so much. I will be able to rewatch it. Honestly, I could actually like finish it and then go right back to the start and be like, yeah, I love it. I love it. Like, I'd be satisfied only ever watching that for the rest of my life, and I'm not joking. I wish more people have watched it. There's several of my friends who haven't watched it yet, and I'm just like, come the fuck on, guys. But yeah, I think, come on everybody, come on. Just watch Sex and the City. I don't know, like, I think also it's still just so universal. Like, every like modern dating problem we face now in this day and age, it's being covered in Sex and the City. Literally everything. And it's just so cool to watch like women who are in their 30s having fun. I could go on about it. Anyway, so I watched that for a good little while, and then I watched Married at First Sight Australia. Can I remember anything that happened this year? I think this was the Harrison and Bronte year, and also the Timothy and what's her face. So that's about the only people I remember. As usual, like, Australians are really strange. Australian men especially are demonic. I'm allowed to say that because I have an aunt and cousins in Australia, and I have some friends in Australia too. I think I'm allowed to say that Australians are weirdos, especially Australian men. Anyway, 3.5 out of 5. I decided to rate it, I guess. Yeah, I think like it maybe wasn't the vibe at the time. It's just good to have something to talk about, as I said. I do think the Australian ones are usually a bit more entertaining than the UK ones. I don't really vibe as much with the UK ones. I don't know if it's just because like it's closer to home, so it's just like right. And also, I think like it's so ridiculous when the UK ones are like, oh, well, I live in Manchester and he lives in Leeds. How are you ever gonna work? And it's just like, girl, like these people in Australia are from like Tasmania and like Queensland, and they're making it work. Like, shut the fuck up, you know. Anyway, after that, I watched Based on a True Story. When I was reading it back to like rate these, I was like, what the fuck is that? And it's the Kaylee Kiyoko and what's his name show. You know his name, Chris Messina. Which I was like, why are you here, Pookie? What you doing? But like, I don't know, maybe times are tough. Like maybe the royalty checks for Sharp Objects aren't as coming in as often. I mostly watched it for Chris Messina. Not gonna lie. I mainly watched it for him. I can't even really remember the plot. It's about like a true crime podcast. But like I don't remember what the crime is. So you're not very impactful. I don't even know if they're coming out with a second series. I'm assuming so because I think it left quite open-ended. But yeah, I wasn't like wowed by it. Like it's not like a super new topic or like, you know, whatever. But it was fun. Like it was fun enough. I think the leads are also really good. So I gave it 3 out of 5. It's like, watch it if you want. I'm not like the biggest endorser of it, but it was fine. Then I watched The Bear season 3. Yup. And I had huge mixed feelings about it. I remember when it came out, there was a couple of friends who were like, yeah, I love it so far. It's really good. And I was like, are we watching the same show? I don't know. To me, it was so totally different from the previous two. It's been talked about before, but like, I had even like an outline of what I wish I'd done for it, as if I'm in the writer's room. But like, I had like a vision of how it could have worked with what was going on in there. Oh yeah, so how it could have worked. Okay, so wait, I can't remember anyone's name. Carmi, Sydney. Yeah, cousin. Those are the main big 3. So what actually happens in the third season? Okay, yeah, the restaurant's open. They're all freaking out. And then the guy, Joe McHale, is there. I can't remember what my outline was going to be. But it was going to be like similar enough, but not... I don't know, I just felt like it became like really intense really fast. And it just like lost a lot of the fun from the previous 2 seasons. Like it became less about like these people who are trying to make it work and more about just like a devolvement into Carmi's mental state, which like is probably what the point was, but I was just like, so we don't give a shit about anyone else. The one episode I loved from that season though is the one about, what's her name? Tina? Yeah, Tina. And it's directed by Iwan Edberry, and the song that is used in most of the episode, which is a Kate Bush song. Oh my god. The Morning Fog. Ugh. The Morning Fog! Here's how The Morning Fog can still win a Grammy. Maybe it did, I don't know. But yeah, The Morning Fog was honestly like such a revelation. I'm so glad. Like, if nothing else good came out of season 3 of The Bear, at least I found out about the Morning Fog by Kate Bush. Do you know what I mean? And like, I just know that was Io's choice as well. Like, I know she was like, let's put some Kate Bush on. She's a Libra with taste, okay? She may be in denial that she's a Libra, but she's a Libra with taste. So, season 3 of The Bear, 3 out of 5. Anyway, and then I rewatched The OA. The OA is potentially my favorite show ever, and yeah, it's serious. Like, it's so serious. I think like I actually can't think about it all the time because it actually hurts me to think about it because it's so, I don't know, there's just something about it that like really affects me. Like, it's a very affecting piece of media to me. I love everything about it. I really wish they hadn't cancelled it. R.I.P. to what could have been. Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows ever. Like, if you haven't watched it at this point, I need you to watch it. It's just so good. If you love like kind of more like sci-fi adjacent mysteries almost, what is it similar to? It's not similar to anything. This is the problem. It's just so completely unique. Never been done before, never will be done again. And I know that for sure because I then watched another Brit Marling joint. Is that her name? Yeah. So Brit Marling made the OA with her pal. I can't remember his name. I'll put it up on the screen. And then they got cancelled after 2 seasons of the OA. And then I guess they decided to make another show called no, it's not Half of a Murder. I only watched half of it. It's called A Murder at the End of the World. And it was supposed to be like the unofficial successor of the OA. It's not. It was so bad. I only watched half of the season because I was just like, what is this dog shit? Like, I had such high hopes because these two people had made the OA, and the OA is like my favourite show, and I was like, okay, so it's going to be the same, but Murder at the End of the World was just so bad, guys. Like, it was so bad. It is like literally one of the only duds on this list. Okay, maybe there's like another couple, but it is like, I think it's the biggest dud of this whole year. Like, I watched it, kept expecting like more. The performances were just shite. The story was not interesting enough. Like, it just wasn't engaging. It wasn't as like viscerally emotional. I just like did not give a fuck. That's the be all and end all of it, is like I don't give a fuck about what's going on my screen right now, and it's such a shame. So the OA, 5 out of 5, obviously it's one of my favourite shows. And then Murder at the End of the World, even though I only watched half of it, 2 out of 5. I think like I gave up and I was like, let me read the synopsis, like maybe it'll make me want to watch it more. And then I read it and I was like, so I'd missed nothing. I think this was in July, and the only reason I know this is because I was cat sitting for this girlie I know, and I watched the OA there, and I watched half of A Murder at the End of the World there, and then I watched House of the Dragon seasons 1 and 2, because I think like there was such a huge push for season 3 coming out very shortly after, and I was like, I'll just watch season 1 and 2, why not? I think I did like season 1, and then season 2 I was like, I really don't give a fuck. And also like, I'm sorry, but like, why didn't they les out? So annoying. So annoying. So I gave that 2 out of 5 as well. I don't know, there's just like not much to say about it. Like, I don't really give a fuck. I don't care about that world. I gave up with Game of Thrones like 5 seasons in as well, so like I'm not invested in this world. I don't care that much. So then I watched Hacks. Yeah! Because that was 2 days in a row and I was like, oh, I'm scared. I watched Hacks season 1 and 2. Season 3 isn't out in the UK yet. And it was so good! Yay, Hacks! I love Hacks. There's nothing else to say about it. Like, I just loved it. Really funny. If you haven't watched it yet, like, please do. I think my mum hadn't watched it and I introduced her to it and she was like, oh, that was amazing, I need more. And that's when I know I've done a good job, when my mum is like, wow. Yeah, you should watch Hacks. It's very funny and it's really short as well. Like, you'll watch it in no time. And yeah, it's just like, I just love the dynamics of it all. What else is there to say? Like, I'm just so desperate for season 3 because Christine Hendricks is in season 3 as well. And then I rewatched Desperate Housewives. You'll notice I rewatch quite a lot. I think I just like, I'm so unenthused with like new media most of the time. It takes a lot for me to actually be like, oh yeah, I'll give it a shot. I do think like TV is doing okay for the most part right now, but like it's nowhere near as good as it used to be for me anyway. And yeah, I just sometimes need like comfort, familiarity, la di da da. So Desperate Housewives it was, and I rewatched the full thing. I think I'd actually like watched the first two seasons like the year before, and then I was just like, I really can't be ours right now. And then I was just like, no, I'll just do it. I'll just do it while I'm like doing other things, like while I'm, I don't know, was I crocheting? Probably not, but like whatever. While I was even just like as a background thing, and then I just ended up like really, really falling back into it, like heavy style. Just love again, like it's the same as Sex and the City. Like the characters are just so good. Like the characters are so well written. I love those women so much, except Susan. And yeah, like all the plot points are so funny. Like those girls, they were going through it every single week. Like they never had a break. Queen never cry. 5 out of 5. And then I watched We Are Lady Parts season 1 and 2. I'd been recommended, not recommended personally, but like this girlie I follow who's like, I really respect her taste. I think it's important to have people like that you're like not necessarily friends with, but you see them as a tastemaker. Maybe I'm that person to you. Anyway, so this tastemaker I follow was posting about it a lot, and I was just like, you know what, like she's been posting about it for quite some time. Let me just actually check it out. And I really enjoyed it. I love the musical numbers. I think like just anything with like music is cool. Oh, I only rated it 4 out of 5. I think there were probably some beats that I was just like, I don't like this. And also one of the characters is so obviously gay, and they gave her a male love interest, and I really didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck. And then this was definitely in July. Arrested Development came next, and that was a rewatch, kind of. I think I gave up after like 1.5 seasons because I just like, I don't know, I couldn't be arsed. But I still put it on there just to like remind myself that I did rewatch it a little bit. But I think what prompted me to rewatch that is I went to get my nails done by my friend, and she was saying that she'd been watching it, so I was like, oh yeah, like it is a funny show, I should give it another chance. And it is really good, just to like, I think the first time you watch it, a lot of the jokes pass you by. It's like 30 Rock in that way, like it's so dense that you don't have the time to actually like properly digest it all. So it is good to rewatch such a funny show and actually like get a lot of the jokes once again. I love Liza Minnelli, love her. That was 4 or 5. And then I revisited Elementary, which is the Sherlock Holmes show starring Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu. I think I watched it when it first came out, which is what, like 2012, I want to say. And I watched it as long as I could. This was the time I actually did have Sky, so I was able to watch it on Sky, and then I didn't have Sky anymore, so I couldn't watch it anymore. I think I did try and like watch it illegally for a little bit, but I just like it didn't hold my interest enough to pirate it each week kind of thing. And I kind of fell out of it a little bit, but I was always like a fan. Like I was always fond of it. So I just decided to watch it this time. I think maybe I was ill when I decided to rewatch it. I think I was definitely ill in August. So I feel like that was maybe why, because I just like needed something that was just kind of like comforting. And like I read a lot of Sherlock Holmes stories, so like I knew a lot of the plot points already, but they're obviously like modernized and adapted differently. But yeah, it's like semi comforting. I did only go up to season 5. I kind of gave up. Because again, I'm just like, whatever. Like I think with shows like that, because it's a procedural, like there's too many episodes, there's too many seasons, like there's only so many big plot arcs, so you're just kind of like, cool. It is like one of those shows where you're just able to like dip in and out. You don't necessarily need to watch them all, so when you do watch them all, you're like, oh, bro, I'm tired. Anyway, whatever, maybe I'll go back to it. 4 out of 5. Love Johnny Lee Miller. Love Lucy Liu. Then I watched Real Lives of Mormon Wives. So good. I really need the season 2 now. Honestly, like really, really good reality TV. I think it sparked a lot of discourse. Like a lot of people that I know were like, I have never heard of what a Mormon is, and it kind of like Unfortunately, I know too much about Mormonism because I studied it in history in high school for some reason. Like, they were just like, yeah, we're gonna teach you about Mormonism as part of the curriculum. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm 14, I don't give a fuck. So unfortunately, I knew like a lot about like John Smith and LSD. Wait, LDS, not LSD. I don't know anything about LSD, unfortunately. Anyway, so it was just like, once again, reality TV is always like a good conversation sparker. And I really enjoyed just being like shocked at everything that was going on. Those girls are crazy. Those girls crazy. Then I watched Real Lives of Mormon Wives is a 4 out of 5. Then I watched Monsters, the Eric and Lila Menendez story. And that's on me, honestly. Like, I shouldn't have watched it because I knew it would just be just like just typical Ryan Murphy shit. And it was like, it was just, the Ryan Murphyisms were everywhere, just like sexy guys at any corner just to add a sexy guy into the corner. And just like, I don't know, just this kind of like, well, we're not biased, but are we? It's like kind of like uncertain and just making things like not clear cut. I don't love. I never watched the Jeffrey Dahmer show that he did because I just like, I'd heard a lot of bad things about it, and I was just like, I don't really want to watch this if it like paints Jeffrey Dahmer in a good light. And unfortunately, I think that's what happened with these guys as well, is it just like painted them these like little victims, but then did it not? I don't know. Whatever. I think like true crime adjacent things, I'm just always just like, why am I doing this? It's just not really my bag. And yeah, there was just like stuff about it that was just like, bro, like, but Ryan Murphy's just gone too far. I did love What's Her Face, Chloe Sevigny. Sevigny? Why did I say it so French there? I love her. And I liked Javier Bardem in it as well. They were really good. Everyone else, take notes, I guess. Oh, and wasn't it What's Her Face in it? Oh wait, no, I don't know her name, but the lawyer chick, she was in like this movie that I watched in like 2013 or something called For a Good Time Call, and I've really enjoyed her since. And I recognized her instantly. I was like, I know her face, and it took me on like a while to realize it was her. But yeah, like props to her, to be honest. Like, that's a great career move for her. Anyway, 3 out of 5, to be honest. Then it was the double hitter of reality TV. It was Married at First Sight UK and Big Brother UK. Big Brother won many a times. There were times when like, so they both aired at the same time every night, 9 o'clock. And so many times in the group chat with the girls, we would say, are we watching this or that? And I'd be like, I'm doing Big Brother tonight. I really can't be arsed with maths. I think towards the end especially, I was just like, boring. Just all the couples were just absolutely awful this year. I think they're really running out of people who are in it for the right reasons, which I know is just like stupid to say about a reality TV show, but like, it was just so sad to watch, to be honest. So Big Brother was definitely more entertaining. Love Big Brother this year. I think it sparked a lot of interesting conversations, not to get like really deep about it. I do think it took a while for it to get into a good groove. I think the last season was a little bit better. But maybe that's just recency bias. I don't know. I just was like, I was entertained. I really liked all the challenges. Yeah. And then I watched, I think this was what, like September, October, so that basically took over my life, so I didn't really watch anything else. And then I watched Ludwig randomly, which is a BBC show with what's his face? David Mitchell. And again, it's a detective like cop show. I think I see his theme, to be honest. But yeah, it was fun. Like, so my brother came down to visit, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna put this on. I've been watching it, and there's a new episode out." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then we watched it together, and I was like, "This is kind of good." So basically, it's like these identical twins. One of them goes missing. The missing twin's wife is like, "Hey, other twin, can you please like fill in for him to see what happened. And the missing twin is like a cop, so they're like something fishy's going on at the cop house. And then the other twin, the one who's not missing, it's so hard to describe when it's twins. The other twin steps into the role of detective and accidentally solves a lot of murders because he does like puzzles. That's the gist of it. I mean, it's not like outstanding or anything, but it was just fun. It was fun. And again, I introduced it to my mom and she was like, I love this! Despite all that, it was a 4 out of 5 for me. I think, like, I don't know, it kind of ended open-endedly, and I was just like, could they make a second season out of this? I don't think so. But it also didn't end in a way that you wouldn't need a second season. I don't know, weird pacing. Then I rewatched True Detective Seasons 1. The chokeholds it has on me. I think this is only my 3rd rewatch, but yeah, every time I'm just like, here we go again. Like, literally, here we go again. And I think this time around I was mostly paying attention to the subtext of the sexual machinations at play between Rust and the other guy. Oh, that is so annoying. Marty. Is that it? Rust and Marty. Okay, yeah. So, like, there's, like, theories that Rust is a closeted homosexual. And then when you view it through that lens, you can really see it all happening and unfolding. And, like, a lot of the time it's not subtext, it's text. So yeah, it was just interesting to watch it with that lens this time around. I do still have an issue with like the whole like hillbilly murderer thing. I think especially now that I've finally watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm just like, oh, so this is the originator and we've never moved on from this. Just like the kind of like if you haven't watched that either, maybe you've seen X, and it's just like, oh, okay, these like weird creepy people who live in the woods or live in the swamp, just like, I don't like it. Anyway, True Detective Season 1, 5 out of 5 as usual. Then I watched Rivals on Disney. I had tried to watch it a few months back with my friend. We watched like the first episode together and we were like, okay. And then my mum was watching it, so I was like, I don't really want to watch it with her because it's very sexual in nature. And then I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. I think my friend who I watched it initially with was like, oh yeah, I'm giving it a shot, and it does get like a lot better. I liked it a lot. I really hated Taggy, is that her name? Fuck ass name. Her fuck ass wig pissed me off so much. Like, I've never hated a wig more. I really have never hated a wig more. I also just like didn't understand the whole plot point with her and what's his face. Like, I just felt like it was just like so weirdly written, and a lot of times she was just like standing there when things were happening, and it's just like, why are you here? Don't you have an aspiring career? Can't you do that? Can't you work on some volleyball's instead? Like, I don't know, I was just like, are you supposed to be the main character? Because you're not. Anyway, 4 out of 5. I did like it. And then I watched Slow Horses seasons 1 to 4. I have resisted watching it for many a year. My mum, when it first came out, I think, was immediately hooked. But again, she recommended it to me and I was like, I don't believe a single thing you say because you watched Yellowstone. Maybe Yellowstone's good as well. Like, I don't know. As soon as my mum tells me something's good, I just dismiss it immediately. So, yeah, I didn't even know what it was about. She didn't really sell it on me. She was just like, oh, it's really good. And I was like, what's good about it? She was like, oh, Gary Oldman's in it. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And then it wasn't until my manager at work was like, oh yeah, it's about these spies who like get kicked out of MI5, but they have to be kept around. So it's like a branch of them that are just like old defective spies, and then they actually like end up solving lots of stuff. And I was like, I'm hooked. You got me there. Like, as I've said, I love spies. I love spies, and I love like detective stories, and those are really good ones. I really like as well that each season is like about a different plot point, like, and it has the time to explore it fully. Like something will happen and they'll be talking about it for the whole 6 episode runtime. And I like the length of each episode as well. Length is important in many aspects of life, but especially with TV. And I think the cast is amazing. River is just always in a situation. I think I was like watching it when my brother was visiting again, just to have something on in the background. I was just like, why is he always in a situation? My brother was just like, I know, it's just so shit for him. Fuck being River Cartwright. Anyway, yeah, really, really loved it. I actually can't talk about it. I literally can't talk about it. There's some parts of it I'm just like, I want to talk about it, but it's like spoilers. It's good. And like, as much as I like, what's the drama with Gary Oldman? I'm sure he like did some fucked up shit and that's why I don't like him. I'm sure he has like a controversies part of his Wikipedia. Anyway, unfortunately he is a good actor. We kind of have to admit that. And he is at his best, I think, in Slow Horses. I really like the character of Lamb. Just like this gruff, like, Londoner. Oh, maybe it's because he reminds me of my ex. Yes, my ex looks like a 60-year-old Gary Oldman. I think probably just like an attitude. Don't know, just something about it. Anyway, I really loved that. Let's see what I rated it. 5 out of 5. Obviously, I rated it 5 out of 5. So that's everything I've watched. I probably won't watch anything new between now and New Year because I really can't be fucked. I don't have the capacity. Brain-wise, it's the limbo period. I don't want to do anything except sit on my couch or bake carrot cake muffins. So that's all from me. I hope you have an excellent New Year's Eve. And that's all from me. The next time you watch a video of mine, it will have been released in 2025. Isn't that so scary? Okay, I think that's all I've got to say. Love ya.